Greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, brother Jack Angry. Things keep improving for us here at the Monastery of Mayhem and with the Angry Brothers Omaha Rama. We want to welcome our newest sponsor, Big Brain Tattoos at 1123 Jackson Street in the Old Market here in Omaha. They are our newest sponsor, and we would like everybody to stop on down and say hi to Smitty and Lenny and the rest of the artists down there. Get a price on a tattoo, and next time you decide to have work done, be sure and visit Smitty and see what he can do for you. Now back to the show. Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, along with Inferna, my co-host and the Cougar from Hell, welcoming you to another edition of the Angry Brothers Omaha Rama, deep from the Monastery of Mayhem, deep in the bowels of Omaha, Nebraska. Now, tonight's movie, we're bringing you one of the true gems of the horror genre. This movie is called The Witchfinder General, starring Vincent Price, Ian Ogilvy, and mostly an unknown cast, but it was one of the better pictures to come out of American International at the, I believe the year was 1968. And to give you a little bit of the plot of the film, this takes place during the Civil War in England between the Royals, called Cavaliers or Loyalists, and Cromwell's forces called Roundheads. And Cromwell was the Reformationist political strongman who wanted to overthrow the monarchy in England at that time. Is there anything you'd like to?
It was pretty torturing looking.
Yeah, it's the torture.
A lot of torture.
The torture, well, yes, to give you a little background, the Witchfinder General was a quasi-government official who would pretty much roam through the English countryside looking for evil, and in that the form of witchcraft or devil worshippers, or as they called them, idolaters. He would go through a town, secure the aid of the local government, such as the magistrate or the leader of the village or whatever, and basically people would start denouncing each other left and right, giving him a rather liberal supply of victims to torture, interrogate, and finally to get confessions from. These confessions, after their supposed tests, they would basically torture these people until they could burn them. Well, burning was usually the last step in the process, but they would hang them. They would inflict torturing, like tying their arms and legs to 4 different horses and stretching them, in many cases dislocating or outright ripping off of arms and legs.
And if they float, then they're a sinner. If they sink, then they're not a sinner, but they're still going to die because they're going to drown.
That's exactly it. That was one of the tests. If you floated or swam, you were considered evil and in league with the devil. If you sank and drowned, you were considered a good Christian. But, you know, you were really just as dead, so, you know, it really wasn't much of a win-win for the person being interrogated in any event, because you usually got screwed any way you turned. But yeah, it was a pretty brutal time in history, in English history, but for our friends in the Wiccan and the pagan communities, it's been referred to as the Burning Times, because it lasted from the mid-1600s up to the early 1700s, about close to 1730 or 40 if I'm not mistaken. And it even took place here in America when the Pilgrims arrived and the Jamestown colonies. Those aspects did come over from England also.
No cars, horses.
Yep, there were no vehicles. Everything was done from the back of a horse. You know, it's like if you had a horse, you got around. If not, you walked or you didn't go anywhere. But the film stars Vincent Price, and we're going to kind of end it on this note. We're going to get back to the film, The Witchfinder General, starring Vincent Price, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Rama.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Well, greetings, faithful followers. Welcome back. What do you think of the movie so far? Isn't Vincent Price scary in this film?
Yes.
Yes, he is. This is actually regarded, for a little bit of trivia here, this was actually regarded by Price as one of his best roles because it allowed him to take the essentially evil and hypocritical qualities of Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder General, and really bring them out on the screen. A little bit of trivia, him and the director of the film, Michael Reeves, they pretty much, on the set, they pretty much hated each other. It wasn't until later that the two developed a respect for each other and their work. For example, Michael Reeves wanted Donald Pleasance to play the role of Matthew Hopkins, but AIP, which was the American distributor and co-financer of the film, they insisted that Price play the title character, and Reeves kind of had to go along with it because AIP was the ones in control of the purse strings, but he was never thrilled with Price in the role. However, some of the little tricks he would play on Vincent Price, and I wouldn't really say they were tricks, I think he was just trying to get his goat. On the first day of filming, Price fell from a horse, and director Michael Reeves refused to see him, hoping that angering Price would help the actor make his character even more fierce. Well, I think it worked, but judging by what we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
this is based on true story.
This is based on a true historical person. They've taken a lot of liberties with it, but
yeah.
the real Matthew Hopkins was no choir boy either. I mean, if you want to read up on him, I mean, you can Google Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder General, and find a whole bunch of information. He was not a nice guy. I mean, the phrase we would use today would be douchebag, and he would deserve the title.
Definitely fits that category.
Yes. But as I did state earlier, Price regards this performance as one of his finest horror movie roles. Some of the goofs you can see, the character of Stearns, Hopkins' henchman, is chasing Marshall, the lead and hero of the film, through the fields, and you can see tracks left by a 20th century tractor are clearly visible in the shot. Yeah, it's like, okay, didn't anybody think to cover up the tractor? You know, it's like, why is there a tractor in the background?
He did have engines.
Yes, it's like, don't tell anyone. There was also a scene when the Witchfinder assistant meets up with him shortly after a burning. You can see a modern plastic drain pipe can be seen on one of the buildings, and also during the burning, you'll see a few TV aerials in the background on some of the roofs. They even had television back then. Who knew?
That's funny.
Yes, it is. Now, there was also a scene where the camera zooms in on Hopkins on horseback at the start of the opening titles.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, yes, you can see Vincent Price.
But
you can also see a wooden telegraph pole and wires can be briefly seen in the background on the left. It's one of those things you got to look for. But again, it's like, hey, you know, this is England and nobody's perfect. We're gonna get back to the film here, and we'll be back with some more interesting little bits of trivia in regards to this film. The Witchfinder General, starring Vincent Price, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shop-A-Rama.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Welcome back, faithful followers. So, what did you think of the Witchfinder General with Vincent Price? Wasn't that movie scary? I mean, didn't Vincent Price play that part really well? I mean, he played it with all the style and flair that we're used to seeing out of Vincent Price, but by watching it, you really began to really hate the character, which is the mark of a really great performance.
I don't think I'd want to live back then.
No, it's like, yeah, it's like if we were back there, we would have some real problems. We'd have been burned at the stake long time ago.
Yeah, because you don't have to be a witch to be burned or anything.
No, you just had to be accused of it. I mean,
or odd.
Well, that's right, and that's where they found most of their victims. They found them amongst the people who had different beliefs, who were maybe a little odd or strange or off. the village idiot, as it were. You know, well, you could say, well, he's possessed by some demon, or he's in league with the devil or something because he's different. And it just gave people basically whatever grudges they had to work out. They started accusing each other, and that was where this thing snowballed, because the original Salem witch trials were based on the testimony of 3 hysterical teenage girls. And it kind of snowballed, and in that round of it, 75 people were hanged, crushed, drowned, or burned at the stake. So it was really bad. I mean, when you get the power of hysteria and the power of suggestion working for you, all kinds of weird stuff can go on. So, little lesson to be learned here about tolerance for one's neighbors and all that happy crap. But anyway,
would you like to be my neighbor?
If you had neighbors like us, what would you say? No, hell no, hell to the no. But anyway, faithful followers, next week's movie is going to be the 1985 classic. Well, I use the phrase classic rather loosely. It was a 1985 film, and it was reasonably good. Mausoleum, starring Bobby Breezy, Marjo Gortner, and LaWanda Page, who you'd know from Sanford and Son. Basically, it's the story about a woman from a family of witches and possessees who, on her 18th birthday, becomes possessed by the spirit of a demon that is locked in the local family mausoleum. And it shows her, you know, in the trials and tribulations she suffers under that. Also stars Marjo Gortner, who was an ex-evangelist. He was actually the youngest person. He holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the youngest person to be a practicing ordained minister. He was practicing weddings, faith healings, and other ministerial duties at the age of 6. And you can actually look him up under Marjo, M-A-R-J-O, Gortner, G-O-R-T-N-E-R, on Google or Yahoo or whatever your search engine of choice is. It's actually a pretty interesting history. He, in later life, after he discovered the acting bug, he went on to denounce the evangelical ministries he was part of and the faith healings as bunk and hokum. But, you know, he still had an interesting career. He was actually a staple actor in the 80s. He was in Star Crash, Mausoleum, just about any piece of schlock film in the 80s usually had Marjo Gortner connected with it in some way. And he was also big on TV episodes. You saw him on The Love Boat, you saw him on Fantasy Island, you saw him on SWAT or The Rookies, or even the Mod Squad, I believe he was on. And this is back in the day, people.
Yeah.
Now, so Inferna, is there something you wanted to report?
Yeah, wanted to announce that American Dream Bar Club, you can find them on Facebook, American Dream Bar Club, but they're actually the bar American Dream at 120th and West Center. They have some new things out, a beer garden. They have a shower this summer for customers to come in and have some fun. And they're going to have small live bands once a month, and also bring in entertainers to entertain you probably from out of town. And it's like, let me think, last week we had Chad Lee, and then we also had the entertainer Susie Malone, and then she went on to Lincoln and was doing some entertainment there too.
So is she like a burlesque entertainer, or
somewhat like that? She, you know, does the fire and
the fire
entertainment.
And, more of the burlesque
and
kind of thing.
Chad Lee did some country singing, I believe.
Okay. So. Well, that's very interesting. Now, you also said that they do swap meets and car clubs.
Yeah, there's like car show, or bike night, car show, and then there's like a swap, kind of like a flea market.
Flea market / swap meet kind of thing.
Yeah, you can rent it for $25. It's easier if I had all this stuff in front of me, and I don't. So just kind of going off what I can give you. But so it's $25 a lot, and you can bring your junk, whatever you want to sell, basically your collections. So, and that's coming up sometime here, May 19th, I believe, 17th or 19th. So, You can look it up at American Dream Bar Club on Facebook and get all the information you need.
And you can also find that on Google as well. Just enter in American Dream Bar Club, Omaha, Nebraska, in the search bar, and it'll take you right to it. And also, the entertainers there are some of the finest in the city, so be sure and come on down, say hi to your favorite girls down there, and be sure and tell Casey, the owner, that the Angry Brothers Omaha Rama sent you. Now, on that note, what we're going to do is we're going to leave you with, our thanks, and we do want to thank our viewers and all of our fans for all the great cards and emails we get in. We're just kind of going through them right now, picking out the best ones. You'll see some new characters coming up here, including the return of our friends Gulia and the introduction of a new friend, Demonica, and we'll be going more into that. If you want to check that out, you can look at our website at www.theangrybros.com. We also want to throw a big shout out to our friends at horrorhostcentral.com. That's www.horrorhostcentral, CENTRAL, and that's all one word, .com. We have just put up our page for myself personally as an active horror host, and our show with our co-producer Inferna here, along with Brother James, Sin, and Ash, and the rest of the gang. There'll be links to the various shows we do, our blogs, our websites. You'll be able to find our broadcasts on Blog Talk Radio under Live from the Monastery of Mayhem. And be sure and check out Indie Horror TV. That's www.indiehorror.tv. You can see all of our episodes there. You can also catch our movie review program, Movie Night Live from the Monastery of Mayhem.
Live from the Monastery of Mayhem.
Yes. And we were awarded the Hooker Award by our friends in Sacramento, Remo D. and the Manor of Mayhem, for carrying on the mom tradition, as it were. Basically, we have the Monastery of Mayhem, they have the Manor of Mayhem, so, we're carrying on that little tradition, and we were given an award for it, so go us. But on that note, we're going to leave you, and again, next week's movie is going to be Mausoleum, starring Marjo Gortner and Bobby Breezy. Really great film, not the best technical film in the world, but it's still one that we enjoy. From myself, Brother Jack Angry, Inferna, our sidekick Reggie. I'm sorry, what was...
you need to check out American Dream here in Omaha, Nebraska. It's pretty entertaining, and it's like a sports bar. Got TVs during the day. I think he may be opening early this summer.
The food is very good.
Yeah, he even makes food. He grills out.
Oh yeah, he's got a great grill, outdoor grill.
Place to smoke.
There you go. Gotta love that. And who knows, you might even see old Brother Jack at the bar having a beer. If you do, be sure and come up and say hi.
Or you might see me on stage in my fuzzy boots.
Ah yes, the fuzzy boots. I remember them well. Well, good night, unpleasant dreams, and keep America strong. Watch Horror Hosts, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, along with Inferna.
Hi.
And Sin. And we just wanted to take a moment to welcome our newest sponsor, Big Brain Tattoos in Omaha, Nebraska. Now they're located at 1123 Jackson Street, which is on the backside of the old market here in downtown Omaha. We hope you'll stop by and see Smitty, the owner, and Lenny and Jason, two of his best artists. And they will be happy to answer all of your questions and deal with whatever your tattoo needs are, whether you're just pricing a tattoo, you have a design, or you need a design. Lenny and his artists will be happy to draw that out and set it up to your satisfaction. And all of their work is All their work is backed by Smitty and his artists, so you'll never go away dissatisfied from Big Brain. So be sure and check him out, and tell him the Angry Brothers sent you. And if you'd like to check his webpage out, it's www.bigbrainomaha.com.